fall is approaching, but I do have several types of hummingbirds and other birds to stick around all year. These feral cats didn't like me much when I first got them, but nowadays they love to come say hi every chance they get.
Hey, little buddy. Hi. Hello.
My friend Ray gave me these bird feeders the first probably 6 months that I was off grid, and they have been tried and true and worked this entire time. They're really great for keeping all the different birds happy. The most frugal way to feed birds year-round is to use chicken scratch. Just grab a bag of this at a time. I'll give some to the chickens, of course, and then I keep the bird feeders full. The first year I was out here, I was 365 pounds, and a woman was so nice to send in these Carhartt coveralls, but I just never really got slim enough to wear them comfortably until recently. Now that I've lost 160 pounds, they seem to fit quite well. I have pigs, horses, chickens, dogs, cats, and living in the middle of nowhere, storing large amounts of feed in these 50-gallon drums has turned out to be about the best way to keep food storage for the animals. The pigs get pig finisher feed and the horses get sweet feed. Both are like multivitamins to make sure they're getting enough protein and other vitamins and minerals they need, and otherwise their diet is mostly made up of hay. So far the dog's diet is about 25% homegrown pork and 75% dog food. Recently, I've been making my own sunblock with zinc oxide and different oils.
No.
Today, I've put the horses back together after about a month of keeping them separate to prevent my filly Ginger from getting pregnant from the stallion Sage. And, well, I probably won't have to clean out the stables quite so often anymore because I don't really keep the horses in the stables. I let them run freely most of the time. Keeping Ginger in the stables was helpful because it was easy to clean up that manure and move it into the garden, but there are piles around the pasture, and today I filled the wheelbarrow about half full from the stables and then went and grabbed another half a wheelbarrow from the pasture. And I just add that to my garden.
Come on. Come on. Get out of there. Come on. Good boy.
Of course, the dogs think manure is a treat. I've been dabbling in sourdough lately. This is my recipe that I've been using to make sourdough English muffins. I've successfully made them once, and I think that this time around they'll be even better than the first time. Time is my most valuable asset, so I wouldn't sit around cooking all day if it wasn't a benefit. Some of the main benefits of using sourdough is it's high in magnesium and potassium, which are two minerals many people are deficient in. The third main mineral people are deficient in is vitamin D3. If you get 40 minutes of sun each day, that's 2,000 IUs of vitamin D3, so you shouldn't have a problem there. And by using sourdough, you're significantly improving your chances of getting your potassium and magnesium, and all of these things help regulate blood pressure, which is something I've struggled with in the past, and now I use my black powder tonic, which significantly helps. But anything I can do to be healthy, I try to do that. Not to mention, these are low calorie, low glycemic, and much more affordable and much healthier than any muffins that you could get at the store. Keeping the sourdough starter is pretty easy. In fact, it's much more easy to maintain my own starter than my own yeast. If you think about it, if the economy was to crash, I can just make my own leaven with sourdough starter rather than trying to find yeast. You're supposed to discard a small amount of sourdough each day, and I just use that to make crackers. And then right now I'm keeping dough going for muffins, and it can take a long time overall to get the dough ready. But really, in the morning, you throw it together, mix it, let it sit for a half hour, mix it, let it sit for a few hours, mix it, let it sit for a few hours, and then make your muffins, and in the morning cook them. And so really, in the big picture, you don't need to spend more than maybe 10 minutes keeping this going constantly to have something that's a healthy snack, that is nutrient dense, affordable, and something that's sustainable on the homestead. I have a small Coleman stove oven. It's just a metal box with a thermometer on it. So I make a little sheet. I put aluminum foil down. I'm covering it in oil. I put the sourdough discard on there, and then I season it. In this case today I did Italian, and then I did half garlic. And each time I've made these, they're super phenomenal tasting. It's surprising how good they taste with it's just sourdough starter and a little bit of seasoning. Monitoring my caloric intake has helped me lose 160 pounds, and so I looked up how much a tablespoon of sourdough starter is, which is 27 calories. So this morning there's only 2 tablespoons of sourdough starter here, which is roughly 60 calories. So this is a perfectly healthy snack to have a little bit later. That way I didn't need to discard or throw away the sourdough, and I'm making use of the little bit of starter that I would be discarding daily. I cook them for about 10 minutes at 250-ish, score them, throw them back in for 10 minutes, and then let them cool. Then it's time to get to work, and today what I had to do was move my electric gate opener because I moved my gate. I used a piece of angle iron for a cross member to open the gate, and I've doubled that up since the original gate to make it stronger and more effective. I can't imagine why I would ever buy crackers when I can make my own so cheap and so nutrient dense and so much more healthy than anything available in the grocery store. Once I got the gate opener set up, I attached it to one end with a C-clamp, and then I'm closing and opening the gate to make sure that it doesn't bind anywhere. And in this case it bound a little bit. I made a little adjustment so I could bolt it down in place. Now that I can see it seems to swing freely, I went ahead and set up the electronic components so that it'll close or open with the button. And I'm making sure that it latches correctly. Guess what? It didn't latch correctly the first time, and I had to make a few minor adjustments to make sure that it did latch and lock appropriately. With the gate working correctly, I can finalize the setup for the controller and the control box and the solar panel, and everything's ready to go. My sourdough has sat for about 6 hours. I pulled out some of my corn flour, which you can get on my website, link in description. I've powdered the muffins a little bit, and I'll bake them in the morning. It's time for breakfast. Sometimes I take some electrolytes, and every single day I take my black powder tonic, link in description. A little bit of olive oil won't hurt anybody, and that's a great way to fry up some chicken thighs, which is probably one of the fattiest, worst things that I eat, which is a pretty good example of how healthy I really do eat. I get these little dirt devils that whip through the homestead fairly often, and they can be pretty large, damn near mini tornadoes. I usually eat breakfast around 12 p.m. and I finish dinner by about 5 p.m.